On this video, I'm going to show you how to build your personal brand without draining your time and energy. What's up, guys? My name is Nico Rapkless. So pumped to have you here on this YouTube channel. We're going to walk you through the 3 steps on how to make sure and build your personal brand without draining your time and your energy. I'm also going to be utilizing some of these sheets, one of which is the vibrational KPI sheet, one is the brand tracking sheet, and show you how I utilize those and organize those so that, again, I don't burn out while building my personal brand. So again, as mentioned, my name is Nico Rapkless, and I've been building my personal brand for over 10 years now in a lot of different ways. And this way that I've discovered over the last couple of years is by far the best. It's the most time efficient. It's actually the most important way, the best output, but it also just keeps you on top of your game. And so I actually want to share with you here on this video is why in November I actually started to reach a little bit of burnout. And so I want to share that with you after throwing a podcast event of 140 people, putting together a men's circle, consistently putting out content, and going to a bunch of different events. So what I want to show you here first and foremost is I track everything. This is our brand tracker, and then as mentioned, this is our vibrational KPI sheet, which I'll show you here in a second. But one of the things that I track is how many events that I'm going to and I'm hosting. And so you can see that these are the in-person events. These are JV webinars, so I didn't do any of them on this. Master classes that I host. So I hosted a master class that over 80 people registered for any podcast or guest speaking, attending events. So you can see in total events was 10, and then connection calls and meetings added another 7. So those 17 people I was giving my energy to. So the reason that I bring all this type of stuff up, the first part of this process is massive awareness. And so why it's really important to have tools like a brand tracker and a vibrational KPI sheet, simply because it helps you gain massive awareness. And this is the type of stuff that I obviously utilize. I help with my coaching clients, but have something where you can accurately track and you can look at the numbers, because people lie, numbers don't. And especially as emotions get involved in, with our energy and building our personal brand, a lot of the time is we can really let emotions get the best of us. And then that way we really don't know what actually is going on. We feel good one day and we feel off the next day. And I've just experienced that. And so that's why it's so imperative that I have tools like a vibrational KPI sheet, because then I can start tracking this. Let me open this up just a little bit. So this is what my November looked like. Obviously a lot of red. It's not where I want it to be because I was putting so much energy and attention into other people outside of me and events and stuff like that. And I'm even grading this qualitatively, right? So it's important to track this type of stuff and make sure that you have things like, obviously this is a little bit more advanced. If you're interested in this type of stuff, obviously we can help you out with this. But here's the thing is that no matter what, you just want to be able to track this and see where your energy is going and know the different things that are actually going to add to your energy and versus take away your energy. So be very cognizant of that. And that comes back to massive awareness. You got to have massive awareness, whether that's journaling, whether that is, having a sheet like this, whether that is, a lot of meditation and just becoming more aware. It's a practice. It's always a practice. Okay. But you have to be able to identify and be aware of this type of stuff. Otherwise it's going to wreak havoc. And I did that for a long time. And that's why, I share this a lot in my story, and I share this on master classes like I did last week, is that I got burnt out because I was just going hard, building my personal brand, building my personal brand. And then all of a sudden, I just burnt out. I was building it for the wrong reasons as well. That's another big component to it. But then I burnt out, tore my pectoral tendon. And, that's kind of how my life evolved. So I would advise you, and I would give you my perspective, that it's not the best way to go, personally speaking. And if you do it this way, it's a little bit better. So let's dive into point number 2 after that massive awareness. And again, after you build out that practice and you consistently can come back to sheets like these or anything, you can be more aware, go back to journal entries. What's the next step? Well, you want to then intentionally set your energy outputs. So after going through November and having a very energy intensive, outputting type of month, I set new coordinates. So at the bottom of my brand tracker, you can see is like, here's all my directives on where I want to go in terms of how much content I'm putting out and a bunch of other stuff, right? So I want to set goals for my energy outputs, and I know now how much content energy drains me. I know how much going to events and putting on events drains me. So I set proper coordinates and proper directives on where I want to go. So obviously not this month am I even throwing I'm likely not throwing a master class. I'm definitely not throwing a podcast event. That was one of the biggest things that really took all of my energy. It was, the more people are in it, the more people that is, potentially to drain you a little bit more. So I set specific energy outputs. I know how much content I'm putting out. I know how many events I'm going to. I know how much time I'm giving out to other people, and I know how much time I'm putting back into myself and my personal brand, right? So it's always this balance of knowing how much content to put out, how much events to go to, how many conversations to have, but also knowing how to pour back into your energy. But you have to be able to set coordinates, set directives, set goals on where you want to be going. Otherwise, a lot of people that are building their brands, they just kind of like, hey, yeah, I'll post content or I'll do this. It's just like, you don't know what the output in terms of content, relationships you're building, the amount of audience growth, all that kind of stuff. That's great. That's where most people stop. They never think about how to build this out from an energetic standpoint. And you have to be very clear on what you're doing in terms of what takes a lot of energy from you. So I know events, they oftentimes will energize me, but when I put on events, that's when it really can drain me quite a bit. So that's what I've known for myself. So after a big month like November, I want to cool off a little bit and not do such, big events, the 140 events. Those ones really drain you. And, especially as you saw in my vibrational KPI sheet, I was not getting great sleep. And, the whole thing was red, and, then my qualitative numbers weren't as good either. So now I know my directives too is like, I want to get to bed earlier. I want to wake up earlier because I know I'm better when I do that. Right. And then I have other things like the anchors and the amps and that kind of stuff. But it's really about intentionally setting those energy outputs so that you can be at your best. So energetically you can be at your best so that you can optimally build your brand. Because at the end of the day, building a brand is nothing more than building relationships at scale. And energetics are such a big part of it, because if you're not building your brand energetically, it's gonna repel the people that you really want to attract. Right. And so there's that aspect that not a lot of people talk about, is that, building your brand is energetic. And so people will just feel that gravitation to you. But if your energy is dipping and you're constantly depleting yourself, you're not going to pull in those type of people as much as if you were energetically aligned. So it's really important to intentionally set those directives. Now, point number 3 is be fully integrated into your brand. What do I mean by that? What does it mean to be fully integrated into your brand? Well, a lot of things that we teach, again, like on the master class, and even at the podcast event. And I was even thinking about making another video about how I built out, a podcast event of 140 people or a masterclass of over 80 people. I've done events over 200 people. If you guys are interested in that type of stuff and showing you how I utilize my brand to build out big events like that, just put down in the comments brand, and I will make a video specifically about how I build out events and how I bring a lot of people and pull a lot of people together. I have a men's circle that usually, 20 to 40 people usually show up every time. Our list has grown to almost 200 people for that one. So if you guys are interested in that, again, just put brand down in the comments. I'll be sure to make one. But what do I mean by being fully integrated into your brand? Well, basically what that means is that you are a walking billboard for your brand. You are integrated in your brand. You are truly your brand. And that's what I talk about. One of the methodologies we talk a lot about is our GPS system. Basically, it's like the same thing as a GPS on your phone, right? You have the current location, you have the destination location, then you have a map getting to where you want to go. And the way I illustrate that is that, where your current location is the massive awareness where you are based on your values, your subconscious blocks, your identity, right? And then your vision is the destination. And then there's a lot of different components that go into it, and the energy, and there's a lot of things that go into it. I'll probably make another video about that as well. But the thing is, that if you're not fully integrating your brand, you're not a walking, living, breathing organism of your brand, and it's just not pouring out of you, it's going to be a lot tougher to make content. It's going to be a lot tougher to build relationships if you're not fully authentic to truly who you are, and you're not building an authentic personal brand. There's a lot of people out there that are teaching build a personal brand, pick a niche, and then just go dive into that niche. And while that can work, I tried that for a while. A while back, I've been an entrepreneur for over a decade now. And so I was just told, hey, build a brand, right? And my brand was all about make money online. And while, I made money and I lived that lifestyle and it was cool, and, it had its ups and downs for sure, but eventually I got burnt out of it as well from an energetic standpoint, but just from not being fully aligned with it. It wasn't like, I didn't breathe. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't a living organism of making money online. I just wasn't that passionate and excited about it. I'm much more passionate about like truly being authentic to who I am, living my values, my vision, my identity, understanding my subconscious block, like all this stuff I figured out by discovering who I was. And so because of that, now I'm so much more integrated in that. I know my vision, I know my values, I know my identity. And because of that, I am a living, walking organism of my brand. And because of that, I can just flip on the camera and I can make a video. I put a few bullet points here, but this stuff just flows out of me. I'm in conversations, this type of stuff just flows out of me. I'm speaking, this type of stuff just flows out of me. And so when you can be fully integrated into your brand, that's when you're not going to be draining your time and your energy as much, because these videos that I make, they take me far less than if I was just trying to, okay, I gotta script out this video. It's just like this stuff comes off the top because I'm fully integrated into my brand. And once you become fully integrated in your brand, you know who you are, you know your values, you know your vision, you know your identity, you understand your subconscious blocks to a degree. That's when your personal brand is fun, it's easy, it's light, it just flows out of you. It's not like you have to conjure it up and it's tight. It just flows out. So those are the 3 points: massive awareness on what's pulling your energy down, what's adding energy to you. Then from there, being intentionally set your energy outputs so that you don't burn out and you don't drain your energy, you don't drain your time, and then being fully integrated in your brand. And then from there, obviously there's a lot of other components of like having your brand pillars, your brand identity. I'll probably go into a lot more details around that. And if you guys want any help with that type of stuff, that's where we go full in depth into our Skool community, our authentic influence Skool community. It's a free community right now. We have over 900 members in there. So feel free to go in there. And then obviously we have a coaching program as well. It's called Vision Accelerator. And that's for our clients that really want to take all this stuff up to a next level, want accountability, they want customization. So if you have any interest in that, just shoot me a message on Instagram or inside the Skool community. But thank you so much for watching this video. Truly appreciate your time. Make sure and subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and be on the lookout for all our future videos, which we're going to start pumping out a lot more. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll talk to you soon.